Friday, March 7th, and my name is Alicia, and welcome to episode 5 of Knits and Stuff. Welcome to those of you that are new, and thanks to those of you that are returning. Today we will be talking about finished objects, works in progress, pretty things, local delights, and wibbly wobbly timey-wimey. So first, if you feel like following along, show notes can be found at knitsandstuff.wordpress.com. So let's get started. Finished objects. So last week I was like not deathly sick. No, I just had a cold and I was out for most of the week from work, and I had a lot of free time to knit. And instead of working on stuff that I had already been working on, I may have started something new. So what I started was the Zigzag cowl, and that's by Isabel Kramer, and I made this out of my my hand spun, which is Pigeon Roof Studios Falkland roving, and I used about 340 yards to make this, and it's ginormous. I think the pattern is about 130 stitches around, so it's actually just large enough to wrap around twice. So it's a nice big bulky cowl. Now that it's, you know, getting warmer, and I totally have a need for something really warm around my neck, but yeah, I've actually worn it twice now already, so it's really cozy. The pattern is it's one big zigzag, and you can kind of see in the camera that like everything's going that way. So what I did was, so I could use the most yarn that I wanted, that I could, I weighed it every couple rows to see how much yarn that I have left. I weighed the skein that I was knitting out of, and then when I got to about half of the weight, then I switched directions and went back. So that way I used most of it. I have just like a tiny ball left of the handspin. So yeah, nice and cozy. And the colorway is called Rotten, which it doesn't look rotten at all because it's so pretty. But yeah, purples and greens, and I really like it. It was really quick, well, it was kind of quick because it was 130 stitches around, and that's kind of a long row, but it's knit in the round, and I was knitting on it all day while watching Netflix, so it didn't actually take too long. So that's why you haven't seen this, and I just knit it within the past 2 weeks. But so that's that. And then my second finished object is my Gingo Crescent shawl, which is out of the loop bullseye bump that I spun up, and it's kind of hard. I think the colors are pretty accurate. The pink shows up really bright, but it's not, well, it's kind of bright. But the other colors, I guess, look a little bit duller next to the pink than they are in real life. But yeah, I finished it, and so far no more moth holes or sloppy scissor holes. And this is after it's blocked. Pattern is the Gingo Crescent shawl, and it's by Jade Keeney, and I knit these on size 6 4.0 millimeters, and use about 400 yards of my hand spun, and I still have a good amount left too, but it's just green. It's just this green down here. So yeah, and it's a crescent shape, or it's supposed to be a crescent shape, but I don't know if I just didn't do the pattern right, or maybe I'm missing something. But when I knit it and blocked it out, it kind of it's a crescent on the bottom where the lace is, but then on the top it's still kind of like triangular. And I don't know if I misread something in the pattern and I was supposed to do more increases along the side, or if that's just what it is, but I don't mind that. And it's kind of just, when I wrap it around my neck, it provides extra layers, so that's not too bad. And yeah, so that's that finished object. And I don't have any spinning finished objects today, so that means works in progress. So I did work on a lot of stuff that, I guess I kind of worked on stuff that I had already, that I have started, but I haven't finished them yet. But I got a lot of knitting time last week, so I was able to finish one of the 3-leaf mitts by Brenda K.B. Anderson, and these are in Malabrigo. Malabrigo worsted in the colorway Va, and oh, sorry, the light is shining pretty brightly. I'll try not to, there you go. So I'm going to, there we go. So those are the leaves, and I haven't done the thumb yet. And I'm thinking that maybe I want to make these a little bit longer, because I'm actually making these for from one of my friends, so I think it'll be better if it's a little bit longer. And then I just have to finish the thumb on this one, and then I'm going to start the other one, hopefully before my friend comes to visit. So, yeah. And, oh, and these are in a needle runs through it project bag. I talked about this in like the first episode. So, that's that. And then I also worked a little bit on the monkey fingerless mitts by Michelle Johnson, and these are in US 2s, 2.75 millimeters, and I realize that I have to manually focus the camera to get that, but hopefully the lighting's not too bright because the sun is shining today. It's not overcast for once, so nice outside, but it makes the lighting in here very weird. And also really warm upstairs, so I did like a repeat on this, but these aren't moving very quickly. That's the downside of knitting with finger and weight yarn. So I worked on those, and then I also worked a little bit on something that I haven't touched in a while, which are the Aquaphobia socks by Crystal Flanagan. And these I'm knitting on US 1s, speaking of knitting on small needles. And the yarn is Creatively Dyed Beaches in Neuro, and that's what it looks like up close. You can see there's a little cable running on the side, and then these a slip stitch pattern on the rest of the foot. And I chose this, I don't know if I talked about this before, but I chose this because this pattern because the yarn is variegated, and I didn't really want it to pool because I'm kind of picky and I don't like pooling. So this is what the yarn looks like. And yeah, so it would pool if I just knit it straight. So, sorry, my hand is, hopefully that's okay. So I chose the slip stitch pattern because it's supposed to help prevent pooling, but then the pattern compensates, because the slip stitch just doesn't allow for that much stretch in the sock, which you kind of want. So it also has a cable pattern on the side to allow for a little bit of stretch. But I think these might, hopefully they won't be too tight. I keep making socks too small. So, because I actually had a different gauge, slightly different gauge, so I went down a couple stitches around, and yeah, so I cast on 58 stitches instead of so I would have 64 instead of 76 stitches. So they're a little bit tight when I try and put them on my feet, but I'm hoping, I don't know, if they'll block out. If they don't fit, then I'll give them to someone else who they will fit. But these are also really slow going because it's slip stitch and takes forever to get like an inch done. So I just been working on these. These are a good like take with you project because it's easy to memorize the pattern and yeah, portable. So and these are in the drawstring bag that I made a while ago. Really simple drawstring, nothing fancy. So those are 3 projects you've seen before if you've seen some of the past episodes. And then one thing new that I started was, well, I went to Stitches West 2 weekends ago, yeah, and I didn't buy too much stuff, which was exciting. So I wanted to buy a sweater's worth of yarn so I could make one of the cardigans in botanical knits, and so I bought Madeline Tosh DK, and I started the Twigs and Willows cardigan. So this is by Alana Dakos, and it is DK weight yarn, which I got gauged in, even though it normally calls for worsted. And then I'm knitting on US 7s, and the colorway is called Night Bloom. So it's kind of a reddish purple. And yeah, I'm not making any modifications to this because it's my first like real sweater, I guess, with shaping, and it's in pieces, and so I'm not sure exactly what kind of changes I would make to fit my body type size. So I'm just knitting it how the pattern says, and we'll see how it comes out. I figured I could just re-knit it if I need to change anything, or if it doesn't fit I can give it to someone who, like my mom or something, if it fits her instead, or one of my friends. But yeah, so that's all of my knitting works in progress, and I'm gonna pause because it's saying my battery is dying. So then we'll get to my spinning works in progress. Hi, I'm back. So I had to charge the battery, and now it's darker outside. The sun's starting to go down. So hopefully lighting's still not terrible. There's a little shiny stuff over here. I hope that's okay. So it's about to get into works in progress for spinning. So I didn't get to show this last time, but this is the braid for the Pigeon Roof Studios that I'm spinning up. So I've already spun one braid, and then I'm going to spin up this one and then ply them together. So, sorry, hand focus. So just wanted to show that. I haven't started it yet, but I'm going to do that soon. But I got distracted by also something that will be in the Pretty Things segment, which I guess probably just go, yeah, okay. So spinning works in progress / Pretty Things. I got my fleece back from Sherry at Morrow Fleece Works, and I will show you her business card, which is really cute. I like it. So that's her card, and so the fleece that I bought from the Monterey Wool Auction, I processed some of the Navajo churro by myself, which I talked about in one of the other episodes, and it was a lot of work. And when I processed another batch, I was like, can't do this anymore, because I washed it like 10 times at least, ran it through baths, and it wasn't getting very clean. It was taking a long time, and then to have to drum card it afterwards, it was just a lot more work than than I had time to do or motivation to do. So I decided, and because I didn't want to mess up the Cordale because I was afraid I might felt it if I tried processing that myself, I decided I was going to send both of the fleece, the remaining Navajo churro and then the full Cordale fleece, off to Sherry and then get that pin drafted and processed by her. So she includes these little cards also with on the back of her business card in each bag that tells you how much is in each bag and how it's processed. And so this is a bag and so this is 1 pound and 4 ounces, and I've already started spinning a little bit of it, but as you can see, it is pin drafted and nice, easily spinnable roving, and it's nice and springy, which seems to be a feature of the Corriedale fleece. And I've started spinning it on my ladybug, and just a couple of samples to see what it's like to spin it, and I'm actually having kind of a hard time at least making it even. And so this was the first one, and it's gonna be hard. Let's see, I'm gonna have to focus. So there's that. This one's actually right here, it's pretty even, but not so much right there. So this was the first one. I spun this worsted, not wool, so a short draw so the fibers mostly line up, and it's kind of a tighter ply. And then this one I tried to spin woolen, but I've never spun woolen before, so I have no idea if I was doing it right. So that's that, and that it's more uneven, and it's like, I guess it's slightly fluffier too. So let me refocus this. So I'm gonna spin up maybe like 1 ounce samples, and then make a 2-ply and a 3-ply, and then knit a swatch to see how they knit up and how the fabric is, because I have I think about like 4.5 pounds after the process. I think it started with about a little under 6 pounds maybe before processing, and so after, I think it was a little over 4 pounds, and I think that's way more than enough for a sweater. So I'm hoping to spin up some yarn for a sweater and see if I like a 2-ply or 3-ply better. I feel like I might like a 3-ply better for this, but because I think a 2-ply might be kind of uneven, because I haven't been spinning very even, but maybe I just need to practice too, because I've never spun Corriedale. So yeah, that's a spinning work in progress and a pretty thing, which means I guess it's time for local delights. So before I go into that, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. And I like my cup. My friend gave this to me, and it says, "Cookies won't solve everything, but they're a good place to start." So I would agree. So local delights. Today I was in Walnut Creek, Concord area, and I grew up kind of, I guess, middle school, high school. I lived there, and one of the places that I went to when in high school with one of my best friends, we used to go to a cafe called La Scala, and it's kind of in the downtown Walnut Creek area. And they have, it's very much a cafe. They have a small menu of some sandwiches, salads, and like personal pizzas. And then they have coffees and Italian soda, and then they have Wi-Fi and an inner seating area inside, an inside area to sit down, and then an outside area which is also part of like a little plaza, and they have a waterfall in the outside area. So that's where I sat today to eat lunch, and I really like their Italian club sandwich, and they use focaccia bread, which is my favorite bread, for their sandwiches, so they're really tasty. And I got a caramel macchiato, which was also really tasty. But I usually, when I used to go there in high school, I would get an Italian soda with cream, and it's so good. One of the ladies suggested it when I first got an Italian soda, and she was like, oh, do you want to try it with cream? And I was like, sure. She was like, it's really good, and I was like, okay. So raspberry Italian soda, so the raspberry syrup and the sparkling water, and then cream in it, like coffee cream, basically, heavy cream, and then maybe whipped cream on top. But so they have really good Italian sodas there, and their coffee's pretty good too, and it's a nice area to just sit down. A lot of people used to go there like in the evenings because they're open pretty late until I think like midnight or 1, maybe midnight, and you see people like writing their novels on their computers and like working outside, which is also nice because you have like an outside area where some guy was talking on the phone today outside, which was okay. He was kind of loud, but yeah, it's a nice little cafe. I liked it. So that's where I had lunch today, and figured why not talk about that for my local delights. So yeah, if you're in the area, La Scala, I recommend it. Good for just coffee too. So that's Local Delights, and I'm gonna rush on to Wibbly Wobbly Timey Wimey because it is getting dark quickly. So you're not gonna be able to see me for much longer. So there is a convention, that's the word, called Gallifrey 1, which is the biggest Doctor Who convention on the planet, or so I hear. And I'm obviously not going, or haven't been to it. It was last weekend? It was last weekend. So I didn't go because it's in LA and I didn't get tickets. But it's a convention all about Doctor Who, and I'm really jealous because one of my friends went, and he's been posting pictures online of all of the fun stuff. So I think one day I want to go to it. But yeah, I really want to go. And I also discovered that there are podcasts about Doctor Who, which I don't know why I didn't think about before listening to them. And so I just downloaded one, which is called the Doctor Who Podcast. And I was listening to it earlier today. And apparently they also have like radio shows kind of Doctor Who episodes with past doctors, and they have like their own little storylines. It's called Big Finish, and I just heard about it from the podcast, so I haven't listened to any of them yet, but that I didn't know that they did that, and that's really cool. So you can have like more stories from your favorite Doctor if they have it, stories for them. So I might have to go check that out. But yeah, that's really all there is for Wibbly Wobbly Timey Wimey, because Doctor Who's not back yet. And I think they're coming back in April. That might be Game of Thrones. I think I said that last time. Yeah. So that's all there is for that. And I think that's all I have for today. Sun is going down. I'm slowly getting darker. So I will see you guys in 2 weeks. Hopefully. I think my friend is coming to visit, so maybe I can convince Miriam to podcast with me. And then we can have a fun episode together. But we'll see how that goes. Hopefully I can convince her. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and thanks for watching. Bye!